wanted to take a quick minute and make a video for you guys to talk about a problem that I've seen you guys comment. It's about after you're using our heat transfer vinyl and washing it, some of the corners are pilling up. So I wanted to talk about maybe why that's happening and then show you guys a quick fix so you can salvage your project. So the heat transfer vinyl, each heat transfer vinyl comes with its own heat settings. So we actually have a cute printable on our blog that you can go and just print off and put right there by your workstation. But some are hot peel and cold peel, which means some you have to wait. If it's cold peel, you have to wait for it to cool completely before peeling off the carrier sheet and that kind of thing. So make sure that you're checking that out before you even iron it on. And a lot of people think that they need to have a heat press to do it, but a heat press is awesome. Do not get me wrong, it's really fun and it makes really quick work. But 90% of the time I use my iron because it's always some little tiny project and I don't want to heat up my heat press. So you can totally do it with an iron. You don't have to have it with a heat press. But if you think about a heat press comes down and it clamps down on and it doesn't move for 15 seconds. And that's what we have to do with the iron. I think we always say 15 seconds on each section pressing. And I think people think pressing. And I want to tell you, this is a cold iron. Don't think that I'm going to melt. When I'm pressing, my arm is sore by the end of the project. I am putting some muscle behind this press. I usually put double hands and I am pressing hard. 2 hands pushing down on each section. So that's, I think, the biggest key is to get that press. And I use it for 15 seconds. I think the general recommendations, I think, are between 10 and 20 seconds. Now you could press it down for 3 seconds, and when you're layering, you press it down for a little bit and then add your next layer. So you could actually press it down for 3 seconds and think, oh, it's stuck, I don't need to press anymore. Press that whole recommended time, because if not, this is gonna happen. And then something else I just found out, you can actually press for too long. So if you're thinking, well, if 15 seconds is good, a minute and 15 will get it real nice and stuck. But that can actually ruin the adhesive. So make sure to follow those instructions. So now I know exactly what happened here, and it's always these end corners for me. I always work left to right. And I know I sat there and pressed each section. I probably got here and I pressed and I kind of just moved down real quick, but I didn't give it that whole 15-second press. I know I was in a hurry. I was making this for a blog conference that I wanted to wear the same day. It was a really fast project, so I guarantee that's exactly what it is. I always, usually, not this time, but usually, I get those ends really good because for some reason, that is where I always seem to drop the ball. So let me show you the real quick tip on how to fix this. All right, I'm over here. I've got my project on my ironing board. My iron's heating up. Show you the settings. It is, since my iron doesn't have the exact heat settings like a heat press, I always it's right in between my 3 and my 4. That's where I've figured out my iron is, that's where it's the best at. So you might have to play around with that. Keep your scrap pieces of heat transfer that you've weeded out and maybe see what works best. And then I want to show you guys, this is called multi-purpose paper. It is 80 cents, and it's right where when you click on heat transfer vinyl, there's a link for it. So it's really cheap and inexpensive. And what it does is it covers up the vinyl, so when you're ironing over it, it protects it. It's super great for if you're layering vinyl and you've got some exposed vinyl because you've peeled off the carrier sheet and then added the next layer. It's really great about protecting it. So I always throw it on over the project to iron on, especially when that carrier sheet's long gone. Like I made this a couple weeks ago. So that carrier sheet, long gone. So that's what the multi-purpose paper is for. It's super awesome to have on hand, and it's reusable. So you can use it as many times. So I've laid it down, and it's I love that it's a little bit see-through, so you can make sure that M's not curling down. And I'm gonna take my iron, and I just wanna press the M. I don't wanna put too much into it. You can see my knuckles. I'm pressing. And then you're just going to check and make sure, and it is totally stuck now. So that's the way you just use that multi-purpose paper, cover up your project. I mean, you could actually probably use a spare piece of fabric and lay it over, but like I said, I love that multi-purpose paper because you can kind of see through it and make sure that it's not curling or bent under there. So there you go. I hope that answered you guys' questions and solved your problems. Let me know if you have any other questions. Leave them in the comments below. And I will link to that multi-purpose paper, and then I'll link to the heat settings chart as well. So make sure to watch for those. All right, thanks guys. Have a good day.